Before I made this video, I was thinking of just showing full-on damage control of Dragon Ball Super, saying that people needed to stop criticizing it the way it was. And after I did some research on some other series and I started looking into Toei Animation's process in general, I started thinking to myself, maybe Dragon Ball Super, it is bad where it is, but not for the reasons that you think. I have about 3 points I want to touch when it comes to Dragon Ball Super, that the problems that it has. Number one, it has to be with its production time and its planning. Back on May 9th or May 8th, 2015, Dragon Ball Super was announced. It was going to be 100 episodes. It was this new anime series, and everybody was really hyped for it. And while the hype was really good, the hype blinded us to what is now what everyone is complaining about. A huge disappointment, right? I think it also had to do with planning, because 2 months later, on July 8th, or somewhere in the first week of July, Dragon Ball Super came out. First episode was pretty good. And then come in August, I think, Dragon Ball Super Episode 5 came out, and there was a battle with Goku and Beerus. People started to get very ticked off because of what happened. There were all these messed up frames. You had Goku all over the place. The art looked like it was really mediocre. People were calling it like, this is the worst animation I've seen in my entire life. Oh yeah? Because Durarara X210 and Gangsta had some pretty bad frames themselves. And I'm pretty sure that at the time, those were very anticipated animes. Nobody said anything about that, but okay. Then, earlier this month, we get an article from the producer. He was in an interview, and he was saying that this series is basically being key animated or having in-between animations. It's being animated by newbies, by probably freelancers, by people that just came into the industry, and Toei Animation wants to give them a chance. My reaction to this was, okay, so Toei Animation's being the good guy, and they're letting, new animators that want to actually make it in this industry, they want them to, just work on a good series. Is this an excuse? Heck no. Even though newbies have a chance to go and animate this 100 episode series, they do not have enough time to mature and be mentored by people that have actually animated this series, Dragon Ball Z, and they don't have time to actually know the director's vision. They don't know Akira Toriyama's vision that in detail or where it's going. They've only had freaking 2 months. 2 months to plan this out, and also animating this stuff as they go along. I just think that they should have waited a few months more or so until they actually started popping out episodes, because then it would probably be on the same quality as One Punch Man, which everybody likes to say, that madhouse greatness. Which leads me to my second point with the fan base and the criticism that comes out. The director pointed out that the criticism that Dragon Ball Super has gotten is way too overblown. To an extent, I agree with that. There are a lot of people that will take just a few sequences from a couple episodes or several episodes and then call it off as the entire series. In fact, that is just not true. There are some good times where the original staff from like 18 years ago, or from that time when Dragon Ball Z was at its peak, they will come in and they will animate some episodes, and it looks pretty good. Everybody is saying, wow, Dragon Ball Super, this is what I want. But the minute some newbie who is very inexperienced, the minute they go and animate an episode, everybody starts to go into an uproar saying that, wow, this is freaking terrible. Just go ahead and hand the series over to Madhouse. Toei Animation freaking sucks. There are some people that will literally put 3 or 4 frames of Goku versus Beerus, and they will being atrocious, when it was mostly that last quarter of the episode that was atrocious, and the other 3 quarters they were pretty decent. There are some people that actually reviewed some of those series that had bad animation and sort of like turned a blind eye. They said something about the frames, but then they didn't do anything about it. But then when Dragon Ball Super comes in, it's all about my quality and how could Toei Animation do this? This is a series that we all grew up with. A lot of the fans are really ignorant about the situation at hand, and they just think that animation is all about my budget and, you know, oh, come on, man, you gotta do better artwork. They just, I mean, we're always getting good animation. We're getting One Punch Man. We're getting Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I mean, you can't really help it. When people say that they could do better than this, I really want to see you do that. Like, I really want to see you just go download Adobe Flash, and I want you to animate at least a 3-minute scene, Dragon Ball Super. Just want to see if you can do better. But when things aren't planned out as good, it looks as if you are being lazy. Now, it may look like it's a little effortless with Dragon Ball Super, that Toei Animation really just doesn't care. It's just another way to get money, which in some cases that could be true. They just wanted to get money because Akira Toriyama really wanted to sort of have a new Dragon Ball series. He really wanted to go back into writing this series again. Which brings me to my last point. I think that Akira Toriyama needed to wait. I think that Akira Toriyama, he needed to wait a while and sort of write down his idea for Universe 6, and so, you know, still publish the manga. I think he needed to wait more than 2 months for Dragon Ball Super to come out. Sure, I mean, you can remake Battle of God, you can remake Revival of F, you can put the Universe 6 arc, and it doesn't have to be, it can still be 100 episodes. But I think you guys can make it seasonal, so after that 12 or after that 24 episodes you've done, then you can go on to working at the next 24. And then once those are done, you can keep going on and on. And right there, when you have an exact schedule, like a really manageable schedule with ample time, like you have several months to plan this out. For instance, Madhouse Studios, they just put their name on the label, but there were some animators that came in that wanted to adapt One Punch Man, and they sat down for several months, not 2 months, because remember, One Punch Man was announced like away like probably at least mid to late 2015, if not late 2014. It was a while before One Punch Man got announced to be being an anime, and then it even took a while for it to come out. Why these series are so good is because they have time to plan this out. The thing with Toei is that they've thought that, oh, you know, we can create all of these good series, and obviously we don't need this time. We can just push it out as fast as we can, and people are still gonna like it. While that may have been the case for a few years, that's not working anymore. You've got to actually work like the other studios, and you've got to be able to make sure everything's in place, make sure that you have some good staff members, and if you want to put in newbies, put in newbies. Let them work in between animation. Putting newbies as key animators is like having a child write a college essay. It's just not going to work out. Dragon Ball Super may have needed to be later on in 2016. In my opinion, I think that it shouldn't have been aired or created in the time that it should have, and it should have been off at a later date. Anyways, that's about it for me today. Tell me in the comments below, what are your guys' problems with Dragon Ball Super? Thank you guys so much for stopping by. If you guys like my video, be sure to subscribe if you're new, and like the video if you liked it, and until we meet again.